Maybe go over the timeline, how that it might have accelerated today when more teams got
Yeah. You know, when I guess that was Wednesday when Kyle informed Trey of the decision with Sam being the number 2. And, you know, I think that led to just some organic conversations between them. And Kyle came up to my office and just said, hey, you know, as we started talking, you know, Trey's like he always is. He's all in, but he, you know, he did suggest and ask, you know, hey, if we could find the right opportunity, that he would appreciate that. You know, he also said he'd be here and continue to compete. And you know, I had a chance then to talk to Trey's agent, and you know, I gave him my word that you know, I'd look and see what's out there. So we started that process, and you know, it culminated today with Dallas happening, and you know, it felt like a long time, but it was really a short period of time, a couple days, where we're talking to teams and teams are reaching out to us, and you know, the end result was what we ended up with.
Did you guys give them permission to seek a trade? Is that what happened?
We kind of worked on it together, and I told Patrick Collins is his rep. I told Patrick, you know, feel free to go out and, you know, find teams if you want. So we kind of kept in communication during the process, and you know, want to let you guys know Trey was tremendous during this whole thing. Handled it, you know, as well as you could, and just asked if there is a good landing spot. You know, I'd be appreciative of that, but if I'm here, I'm here. Yeah.
Traded up to get him. You gave him all those picks.
Yeah.
Why give up on a guy who's only 23 years old and only halfway through that contract?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and it's something we talked a lot about internally. You know, ultimately, you know, with Brock being healthy, number 1, and you know, we're excited about that. Sam being the number 2. The reality, it's not the way everybody works it, but with our system, the number 1 takes a lot of reps. The number 2 takes the scout team reps. It's just not a whole lot of opportunity. You know, I heard Kyle talk about it, to get better, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to play to get better. I think that's going to be his opportunity. Play, I mean, ideally games, but play is running scout team. Play is doing all those things. We weren't going to have that, and so how do you allow a player to grow? And so, you know, back to what we put into him. You know, we take, believe me, you know, we take full accountability. We own that, and you know, but as I said, you know, on TV today, I think his story is very much unwritten. I've got a lot of belief in the kid, and you know, think with his talent, with his work ethic, he's going to forge a nice, you know, career in this thing. And so, love the kid. You know, Kyle and I, when we broke the news to him today, saw him light up a little bit, and he loves it here. He was very appreciative of the opportunity. You know, like Trey, typical Trey, he apologized to us, and there was nothing for him to apologize for. And we're happy that he's got a spot, and you know, the Cowboys came up big, and I think that's an indication that they're excited to have him, and we're excited for Trey's new opportunity, and we'll always be big fans.
It's not an optimal time to have to trade someone. I mean, are you pleasantly surprised that you got a 4 under these conditions?
You know, it's not what it looked like when we first started having conversation. Went anywhere close, so it did advance in a hurry today. You know, and so. You know, not doing cartwheels over it, because my preference would have been that it worked out, and it didn't. And there's circumstances for that, and we can explain them away, but the reality is the reality. He had a couple opportunities. I think injuries played a part, and you know, where we're at as a team, we felt like this was the best situation for us, also the best situation for him.
Trey fell behind Brock, which is understandable, but I think a lot of people don't understand how Trey fell behind Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Especially, we were there, we watched every snap, and I don't think it was clear to us that Sam was clearly better. What happened?
I think it was a tight battle, Grant, and I think Kyle would say the same thing. But ultimately, you know, coaches are paid to make those decisions, and they felt collectively that Sam had separated himself, and that wasn't for lack of Trey competing his tail off and competing and he improved greatly. So you know, I think you know, we were real proud of the effort he made. Sam has had a really good camp, and you know, you see Sam's arm talent, his abilities. I think he's a good, you know, the same reasons why we were interested in bringing him here have kind of come to fruition. Now it's got to go happen, but ultimately we felt that was the best decision, and then, you know, I explained from there. Go ahead, Eric. Yeah.
As you know, usually when teams make a move like this for a quarterback,
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, and it sets them back
Right.
forever.
Right.
Obviously, it's still not the case with you guys.
Yeah.
You give full credit to you, Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Have you and John ever, like, humorously otherwise, you said, damn, we're really lucky?
Yeah. You know, try not to look at things like that, Eric. This thing's not an exact science, but when you put that much into a player, you know, it usually is, you know, really tough to rebound from. Fortunately, we've been able to continue to grow this team, to make this team better, and you know, we were very fortunate for Brock to become what he's become. Now he's got to continue to do it, but you know, the early returns are good, and you know, everything from his rookie year to the somewhat I won't say miraculous, but he made a hell of a return, you know, and with some hurdles in there, starting surgery late and all that, for him to be where he's at. And we had to open our eyes and say, okay, he's cleared, but is he ready? And he kept showing us that he was. And then the other things transpired that led us to where we're at.
John, take some more. We're over here, then we'll go Nick live. John, it's a cap sport. How much did the salary cap ramifications of the average quarterback makes $1 million, third string quarterback is making $9 million, his cap figure? How much did that cap figure and the cap implications?
I think in future years, Trey's on the minimum this year. You know, in future years, next year it kicks up quite a bit, and so, and that kind of coincides when our stuff's going to get tight. So, you know, of course that plays a factor. As Kyle said, we would have loved to kept all 4 of those guys in the building, and Trey is you know, I think everyone should know he's a tremendous teammate. He's a tremendous human being. And so never was it like we were worried we're going to have a malcontent. Trey told us that, hey, if I'm here, and I'm rolling. But if you could find a spot for me. And so there was some level of that, and, you know, finding a nice landing spot for him. And I think we did that.
We'll go last one, Nick.
Going back to the process that led you to Trey when you drafted him, and
Yeah.
maybe this is hindsight a little bit, but how much do you think maybe you underestimated the gap between where you were as a team and what you needed from quarterback versus how much he needed to develop in time that you let him?
You know, he hadn't played a ton of football, so we knew we were taking, you know, somewhat of a chance. But, you know, I believe to this day, if we hadn't taken him, someone would have right behind us. I mean, I think the next pick. And so I don't think we were the only ones seeing it. He's a very talented young man. He's got a lot of qualities in his makeup that lead towards, and like, believe me, I still think that story's unwritten. So it didn't work for us, but I think, I mean, you know, one of the things we've been talking about and thinking about, I mean, there's all kinds of stories from, you know, Steve Young, who sat for a while, Warren Moon up in Canada, to Kurt Warner, you know, working in a grocery store. So, like, I still very much have belief that he's going to become a player. Now it's just not going to be for us, and we take full accountability for that. And, you know, in some way, yeah, we got lucky on Brock, but sure, that set back our team. It would have been nice to have those picks and all that, you know, so we do own that. And fortunately, we still have a really good football team that I think's got his, you know, a legitimate shot. We're focused on game 1, but we have a championship level roster now. It's what we make of it.
Yeah.
Optimism that Nick Bosa will be signed by week 1?
Yeah, I do. And, you know, we got a lot of work to do, and we'll continue to do that. You know, he's a great player. We want him here. We need him here. Thank you.